We need to hurry up.
You can jump ahead, I guess.
You guys want us to hurry up or keep going? All right, so it's like 400 to 1. Doing there? What's that factory having to pay for aluminum with all this new supply, these new mines, these new refineries? And there you see that the price is starting to fall off. Can you speed it up a little bit? Let's just see what it does. And if you see, it continues to plummet. So those prices are pretty much falling off a cliff now from all that extra supply that's been brought on without us having to go back and rebalance anything. So let's go ahead and head on over to Cellin. And you can see that Cellin is in very close proximity to Crusader. So you've got an aluminum refinery and aluminum mining, yet there's very little activity. And the reason is because the aluminum at that mine is very difficult to extract. So let's go ahead and adjust the mining time on Cellin from 180 to 120.
There it is.
And what this, again, reflects is how difficult it is to extract from that particular location. And so you see, there now you see a few guys are actually willing to put in the amount of work necessary to extract it. Not all of them, it's still a lot of effort. And this comes back to every one of these guys having their own individual set of traits. So some of them were willing to endure, more risk, more, more effort, that sort of thing. So let's go ahead now and increase the laranite consumption.
You can hurry up a little bit. You can jump ahead to the...
Let's just go with normal pace.
All right. There you go.
So let's make the laranite more difficult to work with and more rare and see what happens there. So we're going to adjust the global laranite refining time from 60 to 120.
We're adjusting the time on Walla to be...
We're going to do both. The global refining time, we want to take it to 60 to 120. And Walla's extraction time goes from 60 to 180.
That's right. Who's on fine?
60 to 120.
No.
Laranite. So what we've just done is basically make it more time consuming, more difficult to refine it, and we've basically made it more difficult to pull it out of the ground. So let's go ahead and apply a macro also to reduce the default purity of laranite from 50 to 16%, which means that refineries are going to need more ore to produce the same amount of refined product. We active? And now let's go ahead and take a look at the laranite prices on the Hurston factory. So we just did 3 different things to make it considerably, more expensive for laranite to be utilized.
Speed up that time.
And you speed it up, and you can see that laranite prices are going up. It looks like they're starting to skyrocket. This could be a complete economic disaster. If you notice, they're just going up. So what we're going to do now to bring that back into control is let's go adjust the power plant formula to compensate a bit. So let's adjust it from, instead of 2 laranite, let's change it to 0.1. So we just reduced the amount of laranite needed in the economy by 95%. And let's head back and check out the prices again. And what we should see here in a minute is laranite should start to drop off pretty significantly. And there you go.
Crisis averted.
And this will continue to drop if we watch it. You always get a little bit of turbulence because you've already got contracts set up and stuff.
Right.
Go ahead and leave it in. I want to see it drop a little bit more.
We all want to see it, Tony.
So it's already down 40, 50%, it'll keep falling. Okay, so now let's go ahead and add some additional factories. Delamar looks pretty dead. There isn't a lot of economic activity happening over there. So let's add a bit of life by adding a new power plant factory.
Yeah, one over here too.
And yeah, let's add a Hurston L4 factory for power plants as well to create a little bit of competition for aluminum. And then let's head on over to Hurston factory, and let's check out their workers. You notice that their workers are falling off a cliff. What is happening? Well, we just opened up a new power plant factory, and they're getting offered better wages from another place.
The endless night was still and cold and vast. Yet in that moonless winter sky, unyielding they remained, tied to their mast. Forever watching, always standing by. Neath crushing blows, they fought on in our name. They battled bravely through endless wars. Our redemption, born of their bloody sacrifice, so that we might meet again on distant shores. It matters not whether they prevailed. For them, the cost was greater than single victories. Side by side, unafraid to fail. Their courage a beacon to guide humanity. Together, we are one empire. United in purpose.
And what are the wages on Hurston?
I'm gonna grab this guy.
Let's see what the wages that they were offering. I can't see it. So they were up at, is that 0.25?
Yeah, Delamar's offering like almost 3 times the wages of.
Yep, so there you see the differential, which is that factory is more desperate for workers, and so you see, let's look at basically the workers skyrocketed on Delamar and plummeted on Hurston. And eventually those wages, of course, stabilize. They find a point of equilibrium, which is a big point of all of this. So let's go ahead now and make some major changes. We're going to do this with a macro, and you can see where we currently stand on the slide.
There's like a bunch of stuff that we were supposed to be showing here. Absorb it quickly, everyone.
There we go. So we've added lots of aluminum, titanium, and degreasium. In the entries that you see on the screen marked system, all of the moons now have deposits. We've added a bit more laranite, but it's still pretty rare. We've also added a lot of new refineries. We've added cooler and quantum drive recipes to most factories, and they require aluminum, laranite, titanium, and degreasium. The demand for coolers and quantum drives has been introduced, and we've also increased the demand for power plants. And lastly, we've increased, you can see there at the bottom of the screen, the number of quanta from 1,000 to 2,000 so that we've got enough workers to keep the economy humming. Now, previously, we've seen pretty obvious cause and effect. At this point, though, the economy is starting to get pretty complicated. And we can look at a few graphs to just see what's going on with some of the prices to see this. And this is one of the most interesting things about a really complicated economy, which is these changes in quantities and prices, the purposeful movement of quanta, this dynamism. These are all opportunities that you're going to be able to exploit within the game, and they're in constant logical motion. So, let's hit the next one.
Be a shame if somebody came to steal from these people, huh?
Yep, we'll bring up the slide.
Oh, okay.
You gotta bring the slide. All right, so now we've introduced some pirates. Let's go ahead, and so you can see that there are 4 pirate kraken. There's the Nova Riders, Low Riders, Nine Tails, and Dusters. Pirates have to return to one of their bases in order to refuel, rearm. Let's go ahead. If you notice, they head to the areas of highest value. Let's go ahead and zoom in there. And you can see that those are missions being created by the NPCs, no different than players would. In other words, you see a lot of deaths on a route that's got a lot of value. And let's go ahead and hover over some of those contracts. These are contracts that are being thrown out by the NPCs on that route. What's happening is the NPCs are basically being, some of the freighters are being picked on by the pirates, the ship is being destroyed, and now that NPC has ejected and needs transport back to civilization. And so they're requesting that. And these are missions that would be fed back into the game that you'd see, and you could wind up accepting these. Let's go ahead and take a look at Hurston, the coolers and quantum drives.
Check this out. This is where they're operating out of, you guys. Right. Where do you want to go check out?
The Hurston. Let's look at what happened to the cooler and quantum drives.
Oh, yeah.
So since we've now got a lot of pirate activity on that route, we want to see what's happening to the cost of some of those goods.
For a cool 500,000 UEC, you can get yourself your own power plant.
Yeah, I can barely see that.
It's actually normal. Piracy is really terrible for economics, you guys. So,
yeah. So let's go ahead now.
You can really see it over at the coolers where it started at like a really reasonable thing. Like
yeah, that's pegged. It's the scale. So basically, they were down around 1,000, 2,000, and now they just absolutely skyrocketed in price because so many of the freighters moving, whether it's supplies or moving the finished product from one location to another, are now being intercepted. And these quanta, as I mentioned earlier, it's like they have various traits, and some of them are very risk averse, and they won't go down routes where there's a significant chance of death. And so to counteract some of this danger, let's go ahead and bring in someone to fight the pirates. So here comes some security. And what you'll notice is that security is drawn to areas of conflict where there's a lot of deaths and such. So they're going to wind up gravitating towards those areas where there's a lot of piracy. And there you can see them. Go ahead and over. Go speed it up a little bit, not 200. It's 200 too fast. It's difficult to tell what's going on. And if you notice, by the way, the police will wind up patrolling an area, so they're in constant motion, whereas the pirates basically are enabling quantum interdiction fields. That's why they're basically picking a route on, they're picking a particular location on the route between, between two locations, and they're basically, lying in wait. And the security, which doesn't know exactly where they are, is scanning the area looking for them. And so what you notice here is that the pirate situation is starting to look a lot better now that security's shown up. And you would see this reflected over in the prices. And so what you have here is a perpetual game of cat and mouse, to where the pirates look for the areas where they can reap the largest rewards with the least amount of risk, and security is then drawn to them. And as soon as you get enough pushback from the system in terms of security, then the pirates look for more opportunistic pastures. And again, this is very much like what you would expect to see in any logical functioning system. So let's go ahead and turn on the grid. And what you're looking at here is one of the big problems I referred to earlier, is how we wind up getting samplings of this, of how we generate probability volumes. And so what this is showing you is we can look at one of these high conflict areas, and it's basically tabulating exactly what's in that area. So you can see that there are 10 total quanta, 1 freighter, 11 pirates, 5 security. It also shows you the total value being transported. You know exactly what's going down that route. Let's take a look at a few other locations. Here you see the security and pirates are fairly even. 6 pirates, 7 security. A decent amount of value, 6 freighters. So there's actually an almost equivalent number of freighters, pirates, and security. This is the information that Quantum, and it's a small piece of the whole, this is what it would wind up feeding periodically to the probability volume services, so that designers no longer need to go in and say, oh, well, we're going to hard code a certain amount of security, a certain amount of freighters, and it can never change. We ship it, that's all it's ever going to be. In this case, the simulation is running, it's constantly ebbing and flowing. And your actions over on the game side get factored into this result, just like any of the quanta in this simulation. So for years, we've had just the back-end services and the game servers, and the fundamental problem was that we didn't have a single area where the entire game could be simulated, where NPCs could request goods and services because they have a legitimate economic need and could vie with players to provide those things. We didn't have a way for this activity to determine what you see as you wander around the universe, thus eliminating the need to spend enormous sums of effort configuring vast quantities of static data that could never deliver the dynamic experience we really wanted. Quantum solves all of these issues. It also provides us with a lot more context, which means that concepts not previously understood, like how much risk there is in taking an item from point A to point B, can now be easily calculated. Information like this is vitally important to the price discovery machinery, and as I spoke about earlier, in a properly functioning economy, such things can and will generate a lot of ripples. We also get the information necessary to properly customize mission content, meaning we can deliver a lot more environmental and mission diversity without having to do any more work. I've covered a few of the large areas that quantum will impact, but the effects will be felt far wider. How many NPCs you see at a landing zone, for example, and what they're doing can now change over time. Manufacturing towns might boom and bust depending upon how much commerce is passing through them at any given moment. NPCs can grow and evolve separately from their interactions with players into powerful bosses potentially, and you'll be able to witness their growth in lots of different ways. Criminal NPCs with a price on their head can move around the universe just like a player, making trying to catch them that much more fun. We've got a lot more work to do before Quantum is ready for integration with the rest of the game, but it's one of the last big steps in setting us up for a completely dynamic and systemic universe. Thanks for listening.
faders with a smile and say, hey, make money. Give it up one time. Here's to all the millions that we make it tonight. Shake up faders with a smile and say, hey, make money.
Just how we doing, man. Gotta make that money, baby. Chill. Yo, make money.
Make money.
Chris.
Star Citizen is an ever-expanding universe, but now we're also going beneath the surface by adding a completely new, unique location, which is caves.
FPS mining in 3.7 is the most lucrative business by far. Discover deposits and mine them. If you don't bring protection, expect some risks and you might die and not make it out alive.
With mission sharing, you'll be able to take on harder missions with your friends. That means there'll be more rewards such as loot or maybe even reputation that you can share together.
Players can already earn ships in the game.
With the addition of ship rentals, this will allow the players to try out different professions and explore what suits their game style.
With the new quantum enforcement feature, players will be able to pull others out of quantum travel, at the same time preventing them from escaping into it.
With the Banu Defender, we're introducing the first ship of a brand new alien species, which is exciting because it'll be the first time we get a really good look at what the Banu actually look like and where they live. And it looks awesome.
So with 3.7, new players will start seeing the glimpses of what we're trying to do.
So see you in the verse.
Attention, people are standing.
Favourite things about the ships is, when you're in combat, this ship's a light fighter, you should be getting in there and blowing stuff up. But for me, when you walk out on your landing pad and you see this ship, you want that to be an experience for the player.
And that's why we pursued it. The Talon and Talon Shrike are a pair of fighters by Isperia. They're light fighters, so they prize agility over raw firepower and durability. The difference between the two is the Talon doesn't have great missiles, but has great guns. The Talon Shrike has great missiles, but not great guns. So you have your two choices there, depending on how you want to play.
The Talon itself is a very elegant design. I remember talking to Paul at the very start. The concept can look super lightweight, but whether or not we can deliver that, so many of our ships, once we get them, have that issue of, we didn't take into account that it needs a size 2 power plant, or it needs 3 size 1 shield generators, or whatever it might be. With the Talon, we didn't get any extra weight added onto it, and it was as sleek and as elegant as what we wanted. It feels fast. when you see it. Like, it doesn't have to be moving, but it just looks fast, it looks agile. I love the animation on the ship. When it's in landed mode, the wings kind of fold in and the shoulders kind of hunch back, and you get these underlying feathers that open and close depending on which flight mode you're in. I really like the landing gear, as strange as that sounds. I think it's got that hawk foot look to it. I think the way the player enters the ship and the chair comes right out towards you, and the whole thing opens up, getting the dashboard to animate out the way. There's a few things that I really like about the interior of the dash. You've got this framework that runs all around the ship, so that when you're sat in that pilot seat, you feel like surrounded by this nest. I love when it opens up and you see it out for the first time, you power the ship on. It took some iteration to get it right, but I do like it. Just the overall stance of the ship when it's in flight is a really nice feature of the Tavarian ships.
For release, we knew we wouldn't have the full ejection pod mechanic, so we worked around this by adjusting the ejection seat parameters to support ejecting in any direction we wanted. So for the Talon at launch, it will have ejection capabilities more than other ships, so you will still be able to simulate that sort of last-ditch forward eject, want to do one final strike with my FPS weapons or melee or board onto a ship via it. But you don't remain in the ejection pod. It comes with you for a point and then it carries on to get out of your way. The Talon introduces a new technology to Star Citizen, which is the iridescent shader. From the very start of the concept, we wanted to really push the visuals of this ship, and our existing shaders really just didn't give that sort of bird, avian, like iridescent shimmer to the shaders. So
we weren't sure if we were going to get it. We reached out to the graphics team, and they said it was something that they can push towards doing, and they came in and they delivered it. I had some concerns over it would work for what we wanted for that initial paint job, but obviously we want to be able to support a lot more variation. But luckily, once Robin started experimenting with other paint jobs, the shader just works, and it opens up a lot of possibilities for future ships and other assets in the game.
It was really important for us to develop the Talon and the Talon Shrike, because it not only increases the amount of ships that the Tavarian race has in the game, but it also gives players more choice than the light fighter group of ships. Not only that they actually provide a very visual difference, which for a lot of people is a huge thing.
The Talon and Talon Shrike are scheduled to make their flight-ready debut in the upcoming Alpha 3.12, building on the popular light fighter experiences of the Gladius and Arrow, with an added avian style and colorful flair. But before we let you go this week, let's go ahead and see if we can squeeze in one more sprint report before the holidays arrive. Let's get to it. We have a few updates in the world of FPS weapons, starting with this look at the new Bearing FS9 light machine gun coming to the Persistent universe in the upcoming Alpha 3.12. While the VFX artists are still tweaking and things may look a little different by the time you see this one live, one of the directions the team is pushing for is a smaller but more realistic muzzle flash that's good for a spray and play player like myself. After all, if I'm lucky enough to hit anything when I shoot, it's nice when I can actually see it happen through the flash. At the other end of the spectrum is the Gemini A03 sniper rifle that is about as marksman as you can get. Now the A03 is perhaps the smallest caliber rifle offered in Alpha 3.12, and feedback during review was that while it is intended to be small, we may still want to upscale the effect all the same. Like most things in game development, there's a delicate balancing act of adjustments and fine-tuning before we find something that seems just right. Now, looking at something a bit farther out, the weapons concept team recently completed a pass on the Shroud of the Avatar crossbow from manufacturer Ultiflex. Now this low IR, low EM stealth weapon has a very slick carbon fiberish look, and you can see how the cartridges load from underneath. Now these cartridges carry the smart ammo arrows that will expand to full length once they're pulled up and chambered above. Now, it remains to be seen what kind of physical damage and visual effect this will have on FPS gameplay, But you can bet that we're going to check in on this very unique weapon again before it makes its way into the persistent universe. Let's talk ships. First up, we've got a look at perennial testbed the Aegis Gladius, now getting its component pass where they add things like the coolers and the jump drives and whatnot. It's important items that not only have to be accessible for players in the persistent universe, but also completely usable by the AI deck crews within Squadron 42. We also have a real quick look at fan favorite the Aegis Redeemer as it continues early progress through white box phase. Now, using a modular system similar to the Vanguard series, we can already see things like the living areas and remote turret stations starting to come into their own. But the biggest ship news perhaps is that we've got a very work in progress look at the SDF shield tech currently in development. What you're seeing here is a test mock-up with temporary damage values and intermediate colors used for demonstration purposes only. Now, shields on larger ships are intended to be fairly powerful, so there was a concern during development about how players would actually know they were doing any damage at all. This led to an idea seen here, where we're testing an easily readable wear effect the attacking players could be causing to the shields across these larger ships. The Javelin used here for demonstration purposes just because it's really big. It's important to state once more that everything you're seeing here is work in progress and done for testing purposes. The colors and the damage modifiers and the time to trigger the changing effects will all be tuned in further passes. I mean, look at this pistol. That's not a normal pistol. Give me that pistol. Alternate tests also include using different patterns for distributing the damage effect across these new SDF shields, like this hexagon pattern, which always just looks really sci-fi and futuristic. As for which patterns, which colors, and which tunings will be used when SDF shields come online, well, we're all just going to have to wait and see. In environment news, the team is finishing up a series of daily passes updating many of the aspects found across Stanton's planets and moons ahead of the upcoming Alpha 3.12. Now, these polishes are part of an ongoing effort that started earlier this year to bring these existing areas in line with new technologies as they've been developed. Things like the new organics shader, the height map improvements, updated ground textures using scanned elements, a newly robust geology library, and more. The Planet team has been working on developing ocean buoyancy on a per entity basis and generating the rule sets for creating procedurally placed items, derelicts, and more out across the ocean's surface. Now, there are a number of exciting possibilities here, including advanced traversal for the recovery of resources or mission items, submerged exploration, and more. Now, obviously, the shader work you're seeing here is very work in progress, as this is a test of tech and not visuals, but it is an exciting look at the ongoing explorations, exploring what's possible. Also, here's Henry on a duck, going up and down. Sometimes you gotta take the bad with the good. We've also got this look at the current progress of touch bending, which will be used to provide a more realistic experience when traveling through areas like the Hurston Savannah. Now, the team has made some good progress since we last showed their efforts, but some of the ways they still want to improve on what you're seeing here is to get a bend that's not quite the complete crumple demonstrated here, while also getting a much slower return to upright so that it's then possible to visually track players or creatures through the tall grass. Beyond these challenges, the team also needs to develop an effective way to apply the various level of detail versions necessary for a massively multiplayer game of our scale. It's one thing to get this looking good up close, but it still has to work for those far away, and the team is looking forward to tackling that challenge in the new year. Finally, if you've been watching ISC Weekly, you've seen that we've been following along with the continuing evolution of our colonial homesteads intended to be found throughout the persistent universe. And in our last sprint report of the year, let's go ahead and take a look at just one of the earliest internal white box layouts for a communal module. Now, is this a bar, a hab, a kitchen, an activities hall? We don't know yet. That's part of the fun of game development. Because these homesteads are meant for the far-reaching frontier areas of something like Pyro, the team is exploring things like storm shutters to protect from the elements outside, as well as vertical traversal options to allow players to get wherever they need to go for a variety of gameplay opportunities. Overall, these homesteads are still in an exploration phase and haven't fully entered production just yet. But homesteads like these are just chock full of potential in what they can add to the overall Star Citizen experience. So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the Talon and the Talon Shrike are ready to claw their way through the competition in the upcoming Alpha 3.12. That SDF shields are the next step in making ship combat a more robust and rewarding experience. And that things like touch bending, buoyancy, homesteads, and more aim to bring new life and possibility to the surface of Star Citizen's planets and moons in the coming year. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow to learn more about Alpha 3.12 on Star Citizen Live, and we'll see you all right back here next week.
This This is without a doubt my favorite system that I've worked on at CIG. I am so excited to see it getting into the hands of players and into the hands of other developers.
We felt that because this is such a crucial part of our game, that our reputation system had to be much more evolved than that of a traditional MMO.
I love working on these systems that allow other systems to even happen.
This is where I feel like the game that we've been talking about from a reputation and from an immersiveness level can start to happen.
The reputation system that will essentially allow us to track values for a player's reputation with an entity. And when I say entity, that could be an NPC, an organization, heck, it could be a table if you want. So long as it has a persistent ID with it, we can track a value against it.
Still alive, I think.
Not only can we track a value, we can track several values. Those values are in something that we call a scope. When we say scope, we're talking about two different things. There's affinity, which is this kind of measure of how much a entity likes you, and that's common across all these entities, NPCs, organizations, etc.
Hello.
A few different things affect affinity. It's going to be mostly your mission performance, and more specifically actually, what you do during that mission. That's when affinity will really get big boosts. It is also worth noting that we can affect affinity through just your everyday actions. For organizations, affinity is a little bit different in that it kind of represents the amalgamated opinion of that organization and its members towards you. It's going to control a lot of things like whether or not they want to attack you or help you, for instance. And then there's confidence/career. Confidence is exclusive to mission givers, and it kind of says how good they think you are at your job. Career is how an organization might be tracking that same value, how good you are at your job. The difference with an organization is that they can have several career scopes. So a security company like Crusader Security might have a bounty scope, but they also might have a defense scope or a jailer scope or any number of these career scopes that we want to track your different levels of career proficiency with different kinds of gameplay. Within scopes, we have this concept of standings. These are the ranks that you move through from negative whatever to positive whatever, and we can tell when we assess you either through the missions or the mission givers or NPCs or however they are looking at you, what standing you are at. One of the things that we are very excited to have is these reputations giving you things when you get to those higher standings. The idea is that this is giving you benefits and rewards for progressing through the game. It's a progression system at its heart. The other thing that I'm really excited about with this coming out is the concept of allowing for group building and community building with this by allowing you to bring something unique to your group of friends table. You might have a reputation with a certain organization at a high level that your other friends don't, and you've maybe done a little bit of extra work to maintain that, get that up there, etc. And as a result, you're able to bring in something cool like a mission that normally they wouldn't be able to do. Plus, everybody likes bragging rights. We all know that you're going to be putting up screenshots on the subreddit or whatever saying, look at all these reputations I have at max, look at what I'm able to maintain, all that. We're darn excited about how that's going to play out potentially. So for this release, a lot of our focus is around missions and how that's going to be affecting things like your affinity and confidence. But going forward, you'll be having actions that affect your reputation of other kinds. So that's going to be things like a mission giver where you might push them, but it also could be like if you shoot at them, or if you shove one of their friends, or if you talk to them in the wrong way, if you choose a bad choice in a conversation tree. It could be any number of things. We even have talked about some fun stuff where, like, Konstantin Herson, for instance, is a bit of a snob. You walk in wearing a bad coat or like some weird clothes, he might think less of you. You can also key it off of things like when you happen to raid a ship that is controlled by maybe Crusader Security. We could key it off of something like you go into the wrong area. I mean, you just walk into a club where the bouncer doesn't want you to be there. We could key it off of you having the wrong decal on your ship, or flying in a way that a person doesn't really think that you're flying in a cool way, essentially. It's very open-ended. One of the things that we're really looking forward to is giving flavor to organizations by essentially playing with what they like and don't like. So there might be an organization that really likes it when you go around PvPing and killing other players. There might be organizations that frown on that a little bit. There might be organizations that really, really like it when you do piracy or smuggling or illegal acts, and there might also be some that aren't so okay with that. And that feel is going to allow us to bring a lot of the lore that up until now has existed on a website into the game so that you guys can actually experience it and get to know these people in the universe. And all that brings me to the topic of drift. Drift is the concept that over time your reputation might move up or down based on the mission giver organization essentially moving towards neutral with you. Now, before you all get your torches and pitchforks out, the concept here isn't to enforce a horrifying grind or anything like that. We do want to reward you for gameplay that you already want to do on your own. But we do want to make sure also that these very high ends of reputation are things that take effort to get to and maintain. And by doing that, we let people sort of be unique and interesting by saying, I want to make sure that I keep that one and that one at max, and put in that effort, and keep people interested in the game in a long-term sense, giving them goals that they can keep on setting out.
So when it comes to, you know, how big of a change fundamentally is this, that this is a massive change for not just what it means for the game now, but where the game is going.
Like all things, we'll be putting it out, we'll be watching the feedback, we'll be seeing what the numbers say. We've got analytics all over the place, watching what you guys are doing to see if we need to tweak and tune numbers. It's going to be an ongoing effort, especially when we get to the concept of going from alpha to out of alpha. Those numbers are going to continue to shift. With that in mind, the ability for players to bring something unique to their groups, that excites me a lot. I love in MMOs the systems that make players want to play with each other. That's what makes them better than other games, is that community. And bringing that to Star Citizen to me is one of the most important things that we could do. Making sure that it builds a strong community, that's what's going to bring people back to Star Citizen over and over and over.
The reputation system is a turning point moment in the continuing development of the Star Citizen experience, adding consequences and rewards to almost any action or decision you make, and allowing for developers to build a sense of true progression as more and more systems plug into it across subsequent releases. And speaking of releases, Alpha 3.13 is right around the corner, so let's take a look at some of the new additions coming to the Persistent Universe when it arrives in the patch report. First up, we gotta start with the reputation system we just explored, which looks to enhance every feature before it by adding progression and rewards while serving as the ground floor for nearly every feature to come, ready to plug in and add advancement and goodies galore to each new aspect as they come online. In addition to the reputation system, Alpha 3.13 brings with it several expansions and revisions to existing assets and locations, beginning with our new drive-in and sinkhole entrances for cave systems, providing new opportunities to explore with ground vehicles and spacecraft alike. New asteroids created with our refined process for more variety and less potatoey, and the same great danger of crashing into. Non-commercial overlays for existing refineries designed to bring a more industrialized look while minimizing some of the excessive branding elements currently found on some stations. As well as a wrap-up to the polished revisions of every planet and moon in the Stanton system, work that began several quarters ago improving the overall look and feel of everything from Aberdeen to Yela. There's also new mission types scattered throughout Stanton, including quantum-sensitive and timed multi-drop deliveries similar to those first introduced during our Xenothreat event. Multiple additions from the actor feature team, like the new stagger force reactions, the object push-pull trolleys scattered throughout the system, and mounted guns they still tell me we can't put on trolleys. Can't or won't, Richard Tyrer. There are several new vehicle features coming your way in Alpha 3.13, beginning with the long-awaited arrival of docking between the Merlin and Constellation. Yes, no longer will that chip in the back just be permanently attached to your butt. We've all been there, right? Afterwards, ship-to-station docking will roll out in a subsequent 3.13x patch later this quarter to allow for some additional testing and polish. We're trying to avoid scratching the paint on our 890s as much as you are. Speaking of which, The first version of Wear and Dirt is coming with the new Vehicle Visual Degradation system, not only adding our first systemic use of the system, but allowing players to finally wash some of their spaceships when they go for repairs. Mining ships are getting another layer of customizability with the addition of mining laser subcomponents, allowing players to customize their laser experience to a greater degree than with consumables alone. Owners of the 600i, 890 Jump, Hammerhead, Reclaimer, Mercury Star Runner, and Anvil Carrack will now be able to display their unique ship names for all to see in Alpha 3.13, while the feature is expected to roll out to additional ships in subsequent patches. The long-awaited SDF shields, first introduced with the NPC Idris and Javelin earlier this quarter, now expand to all ships in the Star Citizen universe, plugging up shield holes and providing new visual experiences that not only look better,
pure speed. Every year it feels like the offerings here at the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo get faster. Or maybe I'm just getting slower. Probably a little of both. Anyhow, I'm sitting here in a Kruger Archimedes. It may be a snub craft, but when you top out at 1,340 meters per second, well, no quantum drive, no problem. Jimmy is currently queuing up to purchase a presumably delightful frozen dessert down in the expo hall. Personally, I'm an Irma's farm man. Now, if this little minx is as speedy as they say she is,
I should be able to get to the Irmas in Area 7, procure a tasty treat, and make it back both before it melts and before Jimmy gets through that massive line.
Thanks, Wendy.
Finally, in vehicle content, we've got the new Cyclone MT variant scheduled to arrive with Alpha 3.13, as well as fan favorites the Tumbril Nova and Hercules Starlifter in subsequent 3.13X patches later this quarter. So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the reputation system is the next major new addition to the Star Citizen experience, that it aims to add a real sense of progression and genuine impact for your efforts in the persistent universe, and that every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, it'll be watching you. The lawyer said I couldn't sing it. Keep an eye out for Alpha 3.13 progress to find out when it moves from PTU to the live environment, as well as a new merchandise promotion that's starting soon, so save up for that. It includes a brand new Star Citizen shirt that's 100% pre-shrunk cotton. And as a person whose wardrobe is almost exclusively Star Citizen shirts at this point, This is easily the most comfortable one we've made yet. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all next week. Life in the verse is one full of choice. Do you adhere to the law of the area, following regulations and mandates, ensuring a peaceful existence for you and your fellow citizen? Or do you flaunt a blatant disregard for common society and blaze your own path across the stars? For both sides, Alpha 3.7 allows you to share in the rewards with your friends. But for those of you who choose to live outside the law, you may find both additional challenges and exciting new opportunities.
Mission sharing is important for many reasons. One of the most important things I can think of is that we have multi-crew ships, and if crew on board your ship cannot see the same things that you're seeing, then you have to communicate verbally, which is not ideal. It also means we can create so many more in-depth missions or even just harder missions, and the rewards are shared equally between everyone. The reputational rewards are given to the individuals without sharing, without splitting that up. Which means that if you invite a criminal friend to do a good mission, they'll benefit from the kind of positive virtue that grants them. And vice versa, if a criminal friend invites you, a good player, into a criminal act, you'll be, your reputation will be hit because of that.
You are prohibited from landing at this vicinity.
So for 3.7 we're introducing restrictions to various landing zones based on your crime stat. These restrictions will apply in locations that are lawful, such as Olisar and landing zones, major landing zones. You'll find that there are semi-lawful locations, such as rest stops and Levski, that will allow you to land with a crime stat anywhere up to level 3. Obviously, unlawful locations such as Grim Hex will allow you to land no matter what. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to make criminals have to live life on the run. You'll find that lawful stations such as Olisar and landing zones will turn you away if you have a crime stat of 1 or more. You can obviously still land there illegally if you want, or leave your ship floating outside and get into the station that way. But you just won't be able to store your vehicle there. So we've added a new mission for level 5 wanted criminals. The reason we're doing this is because we had a lot of feedback that once you get to level 5, that there was nothing to do. The mission is you are basically given various reasons to go out and hunt the Navy. The Navy's hunting you at the same time. The mission's repeatable. Obviously, if you have crime stat 5 friends, they can share that mission with you. You probably will need to share this mission because it is so difficult. You will also be being hunted by bounty hunters at the same time, so good luck to you.
When the moment comes that you find yourself face to face with an aggressor without the protection of Stanton's landing zones or your own spaceship, the weapons you carry with you as you journey the Star Citizen universe may be the only thing that makes the difference between successfully defending yourself and waking up yet again in another easy hab. And with Alpha 3.7, we're expanding the customization options for your FPS weapons with a new line of attachments that will allow players greater versatility than ever before to write themselves a successful conclusion to any first-person encounter.
So today we want to take you through the new weapon attachments coming out for 3.7. Just keep in mind that these are a work in progress, but we're wrapping up on them right now. So we've got the entire suite of them here at the moment. So as you can see, this is a full new collection of attachments that we've got. Here we've got the compensators. You'll notice that all of the barrel attachments do come in 3 sizes. As a general rule for the barrel attachments, we have the size 1 for smaller caliber weapons like pistols and SMGs. The size 2s we use on rifles, LMGs and sniper rifles. And the bigger size 3 one we have for shotguns. These 3 here, these ones are used for ballistic weapons only. We have the energy stabilizers here. We've got 2 sets of silencers, one for energy weapons and one for ballistic weapons. And we have the flash hiders as well. These are our 2 underbarrel attachments. We have a laser pointer and we have a flashlight here. So we released some optics attachments last quarter that I'm sure you've all had a play around with by now. Those were the 1x red dot sight, the 3x holographic sight, the 4x telescopic sight, and the big 8x telescopic sight as well. So we've reworked these because the previous art was actually just kind of like a quick implementation to get in, to actually get the functionality working and get everyone playing with them. This is a brand new set of art, and we've added 2 more options in as well for some additional magnification options and styles. So I'll actually go through some of the functionality and use them on the rifle range now. So what we've got now here is we've got the P4AR. We've put a silencer on it, we've put a flashlight attachment on it, and we've put the new 4x scope on there as well. The flashlight is intended to be used as a combat flashlight. The combat flashlight is more designed to focus in on a longer range target in the dark, or to use the blinding effect that we've put on there as well. This is our kind of like first pass on the blinding effect, so you get a nice corona there, which makes you a little bit more difficult to see when you're in a combat scenario. We also have the suppressor as well, which at the moment is mostly an audio change. This weapon and all the other weapons, in fact, will have brand new audio for the suppressor firing sounds. So now we have a new weapon from a brand new manufacturer called Hedeby Gunworks, and this weapon is called the Salvo Frag Pistol, and it has some pretty special functionality on it. As you can see, it's a pretty heavy looking pistol here. It uses 50 caliber pistol ammunition like the Coda does, so you can kind of know what to expect there in terms of damage and feel and how big and heavy this weapon is. The unique thing about it is that this is currently only ballistic weapon that actually has a charge mode on it. So I'll just show off what that can do. So yeah, as if you kind of just go for single shots, it's kind of similar behavior to the Coda. You get reasonable accuracy at quite a few different ranges here. But the unique thing about this weapon is, if you charge it up, we inject some freezing primer into the chamber, and we get some little hammers come out here. And when we let go, the hammers crack, and we get a little shotgun blast. So you've got a closer range option there as well. Okay, so just to remind you, the demo that we've shown today is work in progress. Yeah, we're going through all the final iterations right now, all the final balancing changes, so what you've seen might not necessarily translate to exactly what you're going to be seeing in 3.7. And on that note, I hope you enjoy using all these new attachments and this new pistol in 3.7.
At the heart of Star Citizen is your ability to create the characters that you want and fly the spaceships that you choose. And with Alpha 3.7, we aim to improve both, like making the character customizer more user-friendly without losing any of its impressive capability, while expanding the power to earn ships in-game to rentals, which will provide players with a greater opportunity than ever before to discover which ship is the right ship for you.
So some of the feedback that we got from you guys that we wanted to try and address for the character customizer are things like, I don't really quite understand these head slots or how the percentages work between the multiple heads that you actually have to choose from. So now we don't even show those slots anymore. All you do is just cycle through the individual heads that you want to take features from, and you just slowly select a feature, whether it be clicking on the head or from the actual menu on the side of the screen. Pick your feature, pick the heads you want to bring stuff from, slide the slider up, and you'll see your final head actually take shape right in front of you. So hopefully this makes the process much more clear about how to do it, how it works. Making this interface cleaner and easier to use doesn't actually take away from any of this functionality for the customizer. So we're really excited for you guys to play around with it, and you guys should have a much easier time creating characters in our game now. So as you know, we've already got the ability to earn UEC and buy ships within the game, but we've added one more feature this quarter that's going to allow you to rent them for a short period of time. What it does is it really gives you an opportunity to feel what some of these ships can do before you actually choose to buy them. So we've got a few different rental periods for you guys that should allow you to tailor your rental of the ship to the gameplay needs that you guys have and for the time that you need it. We've got a 1-day, a 3-day, a 7-day, and a 30-day currently. And the point is that you can rent the ship for as long or as little as you need it. And just because I can see the Spectrum chat winging right now, it's real world time that you guys are going to be running these for. So you get it for the entire time. Ship insurance is covered just as normal, right? So anything you do, you want to go steal somebody's ship, they're covered. If you want to blow your ship up, that's fine, it's covered for the period of time. Once that time period elapses and the next time you log out, ship will be taken away. This will be expanding as we get more of our loss system and our rental system up and running, but that's how it's going to work for 3.7. Should be a lot of fun for you guys.
With that,
Hats off, Kruger. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to hunker down and determine which of these desserts is the true champion of this segment. So stick around for more Whitley's Guide.
Meet me at our spot.
Saw something that wasn't there. In the corner of your eye. A light dance just out of frame. Blink, hell, breathe, and you've missed it. There. Did you see it? Or was it just another trick of the light? Sometimes, if you're lucky enough, you might just catch lightning in a bottle. Aegis Saber Peregrine. Catch it, if you can.
Two, and now you prove the point. You looked at me, 1 and 1 became 2. I'm glad we proved that joint. I do adore our family of 4, and life is simply grand. I've come alive like jazz and fine because you took my hand.
more behind-the-scenes access to the many aspects of Star Citizen's development. And don't forget to keep an eye out for Alpha 3.7 as it journeys from Evocati to PTU and then into the hands of players everywhere. To our subscribers, our continuing thanks for making this show and others like it possible. And to everyone in the Star Citizen community, join us tomorrow as we talk Star Marine and the new Good Doctor map on Star Citizen Live at 8 a.m. Pacific. Until next time.
Thanks for watching. For the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42, you can subscribe to our channel, or you can check out some of the other shows, and you can also head to our website at www.robertsspaceindustries.com. Thank you very much for watching.
Last week was our inaugural Idris Wargames test, and while that completed earlier this week with many lessons learned, and the ship itself is still awaiting important resource management, maelstrom, multi-crew gameplay work, and more before it'll arrive permanently in the persistent universe, we here at ISC still jumped at the chance to showcase the current artistic progress of the vehicle inside and out, as well as to enlist a few of our oldest friends in providing a sort of director's commentary to the proceedings. Here's how it went.
Just a bit of the camera. So, hi, I'm John Krug. I'm Nick Tearsley, part of the art director of 2042 era.
Your new title.
I don't even know what I am anymore. Should I say that? Should I say that? That'd be good.
Yeah?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Nate. I've not got a clue what I am anymore.
He's the one.
That'll go down well.
The one beef of the
Should we
week.
do that? Yeah.
Get it
Some
in early.
days I'm this, other days I'm that.
What do you want to be today, Nate?
I don't know what I want to be today. What should I be today? Yeah, I was the art director for the thing. There you go.
Do you want me to go first?
You can be my bloody guest, mate.
Okay. Hi, my name's John Crew. I'm the vehicle art director.
Hi, my name's Nate. I was the vehicle art director.
We've been asked today to give you a little director's commentary over the Idris that you will have seen in the PU being fought over recently. So the exterior, this has had quite a few iterations over time in terms of not the shape stayed the same, but how like the breakup, the materials on it, the engine the thrusters of.
Yeah, the shapes remain pretty true. We did make amendments to the exterior to fit the interior in because the number of spaces that we needed for Squadron sort of slowly increased. So it's a very tightly packed capital ship.
If you look at the original concept, it was quite a thin ship as well. It just couldn't fit everything in it.
I think my favourite feature from the original one was the hilarious flight of stairs that came down in the middle of the flight deck. Yeah, I think that was my first fix.
Then we're going to fly into the back of it, which is the way most players should normally enter the Idris.
Landing gear deployed. Landing complete.
You can go in the front, but that'll be a bit.
It's getting dark now, John.
So there we got. In Squadron, there is space for two Gladiuses, Gladii, and there's a space for the Argo MPV at the back, but you can technically fit 3 ships in here.
Yeah, when you first land, you'll sort of notice that the exits for the hangar are generally sort of at a lower level. One of the things we do a lot of throughout the ship actually is just slight changes in elevation, even though you're on the same deck. And the general layout is fairly symmetrical, I would say. The ship, when it was first put together, was really sort of, I would say, designed from the inside out. So there was a lot of amendments on the exterior to make the interior, interior to me is always king. You spend a lot longer on the interior of the ship. So we sculpted the exterior skin around that. If you were to hide that exterior, I mean, there is no breathing room. It is like a bit of an engineering masterpiece, to be honest.
This is where the MPUV hangs from the ceiling.
Skydiving also.
I've watched many people accidentally fall out the bottom of the Idris in atmosphere out that hole. So don't do that.
Or if you want to recreate the alien dropship scene, it's pretty cool. The gravity room was originally upstairs. We had to shift things around through the process again, taking inspiration from real-world scientific areas. That whole room actually closes into its own cylinder. You have to sort of open the door to sort of get in, and you can close it behind you. It's quite a trip. And for all intents and purposes, unless you're going to your bunk or you're going to very specific areas like the briefing room or the gravity room, which you've just seen there are no dead ends. It was put together when I was on the ship and originally sort of designed it. it was very much sort of focused around multiplayer combat at the time, and a good multiplayer map is you've always got options. You've always got at least 2 options at every corridor, every room.
You're constantly flowing around it.
No dead end. So yeah, as you can see.
I actually had a bug this morning come through about the writing on the wall being shorthand.
Oh dear.
So it's spelt incorrectly.
Oh.
I was like, no, it's not. It's an intentional choice.
Yeah.
So we've got the ATC room, which overlooks the hangar, which is obviously very useful for being an ATC. We'll come back later to the other side to see what's in there. There's a lot of decks to the Idris.
Yeah, there's the subdeck in the Argo, which you'd have seen, or the utility vehicle, I should call it. You've got your main deck. This is the sort of the main symmetrical area, and then through the heart, I would say the center of that sort of floor plan is all of the, I would say, business side of the room. So obviously you've got your mess hall here.
It's a chow line. Don't talk about the chow line. It's
I hear roast lamb is still on special.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an inside joke, by the way. Sleeping quarters.
This is for your general crew for the ship. The bunks have shutters on them for a bit more privacy.
With inbuilt home entertainment system.
So this is 2 mirrored, I guess, solo cabins. The pilots get their own little area at the end.
Which are about to get a little bit bigger, but you didn't hear that from me.
So the version that you're seeing here is taken from a point in time on Squadron recently, but there are lots of little tweaks that we'll talk about in the future to deliver more of the Idris. One of them, the missile room, is a big one that's still to come that is not available here at this time. But there's, like Nate said, lots of other little tweaks as we get closer to shipping Squadron that we'll be making.
Again, inspirations with regards to archetype for Aegis. You can see there's a strong inspiration from some of my favourite 1980s movies through here. I like to see material breakup, introduce textures, leather where we can do to make it feel a bit softer and more inviting, as a good habitational area should be. And it's different for different ships, right? But when you're designing a capital ship, it kind of needs to tick all of the boxes. From a putting the ship together point of view, everything is modular. So you'll notice probably in the PU now a lot of these elements are reused in some of the Aegis ships, simply because we try and put the ships together in a modular fashion. And the bigger the ship gets, the more modular it needs to be. You really want to avoid doing too much unique stuff because it will hammer your video memory. Because this was I would say it's the first capital ship we've done. It is the first, isn't it? Yeah, and it was really sort of, genesis of, this was put into production actually around the same time as the Retaliator, many years ago. And it was at that time that we started to establish, a really good understanding of how we want habitational areas to feel and look, feeling being a prominent feature. Engineering, again, completely different. You got the technology side of it and the medical side of it. So they became the sort of 4 style guides, I would say, that became the springboard for a lot of the other ships to sort of follow on from.
Yeah, you see a lot of similar stuff in the Hammerhead, which actually uses a lot of the Idris kit as well. Different areas have their different technical feeling.
You'll notice here when you come in through the centre of the med bay, for example, there are very little right angles. When you look at the floor plan, for example, it generally dollies off at 45-degree angles or 60-degree angles. I don't like right angles in floor plans. Things need to flow, as you can see there. You're going to get a right angle when you come out of a door. There's not much you can do about that. But yeah, and it's all interweaved. You'll notice there's lots of windows that look outside. There's lots of windows that look back into the hangar. So we're not doing any cheating. Escape pods here.
Yeah, right at the front of the ship now. So this is the manned turret at the front, the big one up top. And then lots of escape pods here for everyone that's in the sort of upper front half if things go sideways and you need to get off the ship. So going back down the starboard side, have to do the bath sim head of port and starboard.
Yeah, interesting you mentioned that, John, because navigation has been a little bit of an issue. So these corridors that you're running around at the moment, they're going to have a lot more of an injection of colour in the future. So you'll have a much better understanding of whether you're going forwards or backwards or whether you're on the left or the right. Worth noting as well, like all the spaces that you're seeing are completely undressed. There are, you know, tens of thousands of entities that end up on top of what you're seeing for Squadron because it needs to feel more lived in, it needs to tell that story. So it's kind of bare bones seeing it this way, which is kind of strange for me at the moment.
Yeah, it was very strange when we were getting this ready for the PU to take off all those layers and sort of see it in a state that we've not seen.
Plus also we're not seeing it with NPCs.
Yeah.
When you see this with NPCs and, you know, people walking around carrying out their duties, engineers doing their things at panels or whatnot, it feels lived in, it feels alive. But, you know, hopefully when it goes into the PU, there'll be plenty of people running around anyway, which will make it feel very similar for you guys.
Hamster balls.
You want to get buff? Go to the gym.
I don't know what we had there originally opposite the ATC. Was it? It was the pilot?
It was the pilot ready area, but we moved the pilot ready area down to the same level as the hangar so you can get your gear, scramble out as quickly as possible rather than getting your gear.
Run down a flight of stairs.
Watch your back now. He's close.
He better be. I heard they found Leica with one over near Lyria. Took 15 roughnecks to bring him down.
Everyone after these things is really out for blood, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So watch the perimeter.
Copy that.
You sure this marker is accurate?
Yeah, you should be right up on him in 3, 2...
What the?
Ow. You good?
Is that? Holy shit! He has one. I'm here.
Wait.
We're good.
Wait.
No. What's wrong?
The marker. It's on you.
What do you mean?
Everyone knows! Get out of there! Now!
Broken ankle.
Then going further back, we're sort of halfway, 3/4 of the way back.
Yeah, you got your sort of, I think...
The crossover point here.
Yeah, you got 2 crossover points on the hangar. Now you're going to sort of come through, and this is where a lot of the asymmetry comes in, although the footprint is sort of similar. You'll come through. On one side, you've got Brig, which is where all the naughty people go, and we have a lot of naughty people in the game. There's a security office in there, and on the opposite side of that is, basically the opposite side of the ship, is the armory, which you'll see in a little bit.
Big escape pods, so big shared ones rather than individual pods. You might have seen, as we've gone around, some big red signposted rooms. They, I believe, have EVA airlocks in them as well as sort of maintenance storage areas, so all signposted so you know in a hurry where to go. Then the main briefing room.
Main briefing room, again, integral to Squadron. This is where you're going to get your mission briefings and so on. It's a big ship.
Yeah.
There's a lot to it.
Like I say, there's a lot crammed in.
Yeah.
So now we're on the opposite side to where the brig was. So this is the armory and shooting range.
Quite a bit of inspiration from RoboCop. Yeah, as you can probably all tell, I'm a bit of an 80s buff when it comes to the movies. When I had to do things for real, actually build things, it visually makes quite a big difference to me as a visual kind of guy.
That firing range area is another one of the areas that has changed around a bit over time because it was an all-in-one.
I think it was on the other side as well.
Yeah.
I think we flipped it, and then we got into the logistics of, you know, what happens if you take your gun away from there? What's going to happen to you as a player? So there was, you know, you're not supposed to walk around a military ship with a firearm in your hand, basically. So yeah, lots of minor changes there, more for the social experience.
So this is above the rear of the hangar, not all the way at the back, because it has two lifts that go down to, or one lift that goes down to the... Two?
Yeah,
one each side.
There's one each side that connects with the hangar, so if you're bringing in supplies or getting ready to go out on a long journey into the depths of space, you can, you know, utility vehicle drops the cargo off and you can load up pretty efficiently. Decontamination area before you get into what would be the engine room.
Very different feeling, like we talked about, compared to the rest of the ship.
Yeah, it's the thing with Aegis, we sort of looked at a lot of real-world scientific, I would say, you know, hydrogen colliders, nuclear reactors. CERN was a big sort of inspiration with a lot of the paneling and general sort of feel. And that's continued in the Gauntlet and a lot of the other Aegis ships that you'll see.
And then you will have seen them dotted around in all the corridors, but there's a lot of wall panels that hold all the components. So whilst we do have some big capital size components like in the engine room, there's a lot of sort of secondary redundancy with all these extra wall panels dotted around. So if one area of the ship goes down, it's not completely scuppered. You can still route power around.
Yeah, it's the interesting thing in the original design document, John, where if life support systems went down on the rear of the ship, there's actually sort of like large bulkheads that close that section of the ship off, so the rest of the ship can survive. So again, you know, thinking about sort of multiplayer aspect, if you were to try and ambush one of these things, I think there's going to be quite a lot of fun to be had.
Yeah, those bulkheads, I think you probably will have seen some of them in the corridors as we watch big yellowy orange.
Yellowy orange, okay. The layout as well, the engine room, you'll notice, is pretty much, if you were boarding the ship from the hangar, pretty much the most well-protected room of the ship. Again, with that multiplayer feeling in mind. I think going off, do you remember Titan mode? Squadron, not Squadron, Battlefield?
Yeah.
Really just trying to create this sort of layer upon layer until you get to the engine room to make that quite difficult to ultimately disable the ship.
Like we talked about, there's a lot of flow in the interior, but there are those areas that have very distinct choke points to get to. Like the bridge is one, whilst there is multiple ways to get there, they're quite well defendable, and then the engine room is the other. So those are two areas you really don't want people getting to uninvited.
Yeah.
There's a few ways you can go up to the bridge. There's obviously this lift, but there is also a set of staircases either side. So you have these sort of tactical stations at the back, flanking each side, down on a lower level from the main bridge area.
I think I would say most proud of on the bridge. There's been a lot of rework done, but you'll notice here the view out, it's pretty spectacular. Removed what would be, you know, the cross frame, which went across the front of the ship. So you got completely unobstructed views out to space. But it still feels chunky and weighty, which it needs to, which is, you know, a success.
So that was a little bit of a director's commentary on the Idris, which hopefully you'll have seen and experienced as part of the event that's been going on in the Persistent Universe recently. And as great as the ship looks in the video and the events, there's still quite a bit of work to do before we can give it to players to have for real. Things like resource network, multi-crew gameplay, all these things that make it an actual living, breathing capital ship that you want to run and own. That's pretty much it for now.
Yeah, to echo what John said, I hope you enjoyed what you saw. You know, there's still a ways to go with regards to sort of delivering, you know, the ship as a whole for the PU. But I just want to give a shout out to all the teams that have been involved in working on it. I mean, the list is endless. Artists, designers, concept artists, lighting crew, social design, level design. I mean, it's huge. There is literally hundreds of people involved in delivering such an asset to yourselves, and we really hope with the limited time that you get it, that you really enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if there's people at the company that haven't touched it in some way or form over the years. It's such a big part of the experience.
So what we learned this week? Well, we learned that the Idris is a delight to behold inside and out, that it's benefited and continues to do so from years of iteration in Squadron 42, that there's still lots to be done beyond the currently fantastic art to bring the gameplay to it that it and its owners deserve, and that when all that is said and done, this is going to be one heck of an addition to the Persistent Universe. For Inside Jared Huckabee,
Oh no! Is Idris the ship you've been looking for?
For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week. Some weeks you have it, some weeks you don't.
Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Stupid.
Not about piloting the most cutting-edge ships, or traveling to the farthest reaches of the universe, forging connections that will last your entire life, fighting to protect your home and loved ones, or even learning what you're truly capable of. Those are just the perks. I'm Commander Ryan Enright. I fly Navy.
I assumed you talked to all rookies that way.
I assumed he talked to all the rookies that way.
Man on a rusty tug, 24 scars across his mug, said to me, let me tell you, son, got a tale for each and every one. Hey ho, it's time to go, and we'll be home, the devil knows. Hey ho, it's time to go away, away, away. That one there above your eye, I crashed a snub and nearly died. That nasty one that splits your lip, a barkeep I forgot to take it. Hey ho, it's time to go, and we'll be home, the devil knows. Hey ho, it's time to go away, away, away. That one there beneath your mouth, got it in a trigger game gone south. That one there that cleaved your ear, a lover that I once held dear. Hey ho, it's time to go, and we'll be home, the devil knows. Hey ho, it's time to go away, away, away. That one there across your nose, trying to change a cooling hose. That one there across your cheek, I got it in a bonfire just last week. Hey ho, it's time to go, and we'll be home, the devil knows. Hey ho, it's time to go away, away, away. Hey ho, it's time to go, and we'll be home, the devil knows. Hey ho, it's time to go away, away, away. Let's get on.
With courage, for honor, in strength, to glory.
Archangel 6, come in.
Go for 6.
I'm getting a faint contact on bearing 287. You picking that up?
Yeah, got it. Scanning now. We're clear. Commercial vessel out of Vega 3. Reminded them that civilian traffic is restricted under lockdown.
Copy that.
Archangel. Archangel. This is Krugeri.
Come back, Krugeri.
Redirect to sector 7 Bravo Echo for immediate tasking.
Copy that. On our way.
Scimitar, reposition for heading 038. Copy that. Adjusting heading now. Reaper Squadron. Thanks for joining us. What's your sit rep? In position, holding now. Understood. Stand by for further orders. All flanks, Bishop wants to lose formation on our battle so we don't clump up. Copy that.
I know I just wrote you, but a couple of hours ago, proximity sensors on the other side of the jump got twigged and went dark. The word is it might be that clan that we've been battling with. I guess that last fight didn't scare them off quite like we all hoped it would. Honestly, we've been out here so long, I don't know what to pull for anymore. I just wanted to let you know. I'll write as soon as I can. Stay safe.
Never gets old, does it?
Sir.
Eddies. I used to do the same thing when I was first coming up. Post up to the flight deck whenever I could to watch the launches. Have you seen the F-8s up close?
No, sir.
The thing's a beast. Nimble, too.
12 maneuvering thrusters and 3 mains. It sure sounds like it. Sir.
Captain McLaren to the bridge. Captain McLaren to the bridge.
I saw you apply to the Flight Academy again.
Yes, sir.
Keep your head up. Took me a couple times before I got in.
Thank you, sir.
All gunners. Any gear, report to your turret. Repeat, all gunners to your turrets.
Oh snap, I forgot to tell. I talked to Watkins in logistics and he said the recon team was wiped out.
Really? Then why are we sitting here? Vandal aren't stupid. If they know we know, they would have hit us by now.
Hey, they can take as much time as they want. The longer they wait, more of a chance the 42s will get back.
Well, they can hit whenever.
Hey, there you are.
Hey.
Where's your helmet?
Can't gun without it.
Come on.
Rookie mistake.
I gotta get to my turret.
Got to go up.
Jacobs told me the Vandal tried to board ships, and I haven't been able to sleep since. I heard from my buddy over on the Banshee.
I heard we aren't getting any reinforcements.
I've got to send them through, right? We've been getting tuned up for weeks.
It's this Polo Initiative horse shit. High Command's been freaking out about having to make cuts, so everybody's taking hits. Winslow and the Banshee told me they got denied on extra ammo for their main gun.
Almost like the suits on Earth 1 attack.
Maybe we should oblige them, you know? How do they go to them all versus the home?
Have you heard about this show, Lost Squad?
Are they seriously doing another show about the fall of Caliban?
Supposedly out next year.
I'll need you to be a big sister to me, okay?
Teach him what I taught you. And do me a favor. Help your mom. Whatever you can.
Hey. All set? Hey, you get any sleep last night? Yeah, me neither. Oh, bad news. I heard Goofy was assigned to your rig for this last shift, so brace yourself. Your controls are gonna be screwed.
This is Captain McLaren. Sitcon upgraded to orange. All reserve personnel get to your stations.
Looks like this could be it. Hey, good luck. See you up there.
You got it.
God damn it, Goofy, get the hell out of there! So glad you could join us. I want you calibrated and ready to fire in 5, here?
I don't know how the hell Goofy uses this thing with those settings. I'm just gonna do a full reset so you can get operational. Just follow the on-screen instructions for the calibration program. Stand by. We'll start with tracking. Since we're out here hunting a Vandal clan, I'll load up one of their ships for you to follow. All set for controlling your turret. Next up, they'll test your firing mechanics. The system projects simulated rounds, so don't worry about friendly fire. Last thing we need to do is verify your targeting. I'll load up a larger Vandal ship for you to practice targeting specific parts of the enemy. Okay, your targeting is tracking solid, so that should do it. Checking the other gunners, and they seem to be up as well. Everyone up? Marcus, test your tilt. System says it's ticking.
Moving doing now, sir? Seems fine to me.
Good. All right, people.
While mind-bending velocity and nausea-inducing G-forces certainly have their charms, not everything at the IAE is about blinding speed and sexy silhouettes. The titans of industrial aerospace are all here, flexing their muscles. Take MISC. Their Freelancer series are perennial favourites of independent haulers, thanks to their famously ample cargo capacity and relatively small size. And with 4 discrete models to choose from, there's a Freelancer flavour for nearly every taste, whether you fancy auxiliary fuel tanks or a heaping helping of missiles. But MISC isn't the only industrially inclined contributor to this year's exposition. Argo Astronautics, for one, are not content to rest on their utilitarian laurels. We're here at a super-secret off-site location that definitely isn't an Argo production facility to get a first look at their 2949 Mole multi-crew mining machine. It's not only a paragon of alliteration, but is being touted as an excavation revelation, with a more user-friendly control interface and sport-inspired stuff. Good news for all you aspiring diggers out there. Releasing in just a few weeks, you'll get to see firsthand the bonding experience that is simultaneous mining, just like Jimmy and me. Next on Whitley's Guide, we behold the inscrutable curiosities of the Exotics Pavilion and the IAE Food Court. Don't go anywhere.
Friends, wait for the end of this video. Day 2 and tomorrow I'm blasting off to Microtech and the Intergalactic Aerospace. IAE, y'all know what I mean. Light workout before my Stormwall tour. I'm seriously so excited for this and want to say thanks again to Origin, my amazing sponsors. People are obsessed with these Stormwalls. See, I'm learning. The person in this costume, I mean, how adorable. I'm on this shuttle thing, guys, way less fancy than the Origin one, and full of tourists. Real Stormwalls! They are seriously amazing. Got back on land and things started to get real weird.
Any idea what's happening, sir?
You covering your sector and staying off comms. At least that's what should be happening.
My money's still on the drill.
What'd I just say?
Sorry, sir. About time.
Shut up.
Attention, Second Fleet. This is Admiral Bishop. For 6 months now, we have faced an elusive enemy determined to see the Empire burn and every human with it. There have been battles. There have been losses. Each and every one of you has proven yourself time and again, but today I must ask for more. Today, we fight one last battle. Advanced recon indicates the entire Vandal fleet has just entered the system. This means a kingship is headed our way. Now, some of you will not survive today, but there will be no time for sorrow. We will have to grieve for them later. Because 2 billion souls in this system hang in the balance. There should be no illusions about what we were up against. In the history of the UEE, a kingship has entered human space a handful of times. Battle of Orion, Siege of Tiber, the fall of Caliban. But we are the Second Fleet. History will remember us differently. We will not have to worry about it being kind, because today we will define ourselves through our actions. We will not lose the system. We will not fall back. We will win, because we have to. We fight today. So in 40 years from now, when you're surrounded by everything and everyone you hold dear, and they ask, what did you do in the Battle of Vega? You can look them in the eye and say, I held the line. Men and women of the Second Fleet, I am proud to stand with you today. Good luck. Bishop out.
Nice speech.
Any word from the recon team?
Not yet.
Let's get into position. Fleet, hold fire until my mark.
Strip safeties from the Goliath. We'll have to hit him close. I want him live on launch.
What are they waiting for?
I thought it would be bigger. Ship's locked, sir. Fleet's ready.
Stand by.
Got one! I got one!
Good kill. Come on, people, keep up the pressure. Another wave. Yeah, I see you.
Oh, he's incoming!
Get him! Get him!
Now that's how you do it!
Good job, all. Stay focused. Tracking enemy sides. Light him up.
On! Woo!
Target down. Good kill. Good job, Keith.
Like numero uno. Didn't even notice the Crusader security. Second red flag. Then in the middle of my food selfie, some randoms burst in and start shooting. Friends, this may be my last. Stay tuned for my next post to see if I survive.
39 is going to broaden the visual spectrum of Star Citizen a lot.
First moons we have built with Planetech V4 from the ground up.
You get caught, you go to jail. You can pay off your debt to society, or you can try to escape.
The Caterpillar mission is really cool.
It's the first Tavaran ship we've seen in game.
Hunger, thirst, and extreme temperatures, it all affects you now.
We are really excited to see how players respond.
Through unforgiving lands, across the impossible expanse, a mirage calls, a distant oasis. We chase what most consider myth, pursue an obsession. That's what pushes us to greatness. The Oasis. It's real. The 400i by Origin Jumpworks.
I've got bogeys I can't shake. I need a brush off. You got your pilot. All right, gunners. Protect our fighters. Tracking talk. Can't hold out much longer. Damn it, gunners, take out those duels. Thanks for the help, Cocker. You got it. Get back in there. Will do.
August, shift your position back and drift 8 degrees off X-axis. That should bring that Moiler into your field of fire. Corvers, redirect to fill the gap and take those gunboats off integrity. Scimitar, your turn to play bait. Banshee, push forward. Let's see how strong their line is. Raiden, you're their support.
Could have been capital ship fire.
No, it's too focused. It's more like heavy fighters. Do we have a line on them?
Turrets have been taken out, sir.
Gauntlet! Come in! We need you to sweep up some fighters on us.
On it, sir. Get us in close.
Aye, sir.
You're up, turret gunners. We're guarding Bishop here. Make me proud.
Heard the captain? I want those dull ships fried and crispy. Copy? Aye, Captain.
Copy that.
On it, sir.
Let them have it, gunners. It's us or them. Good kill. Those fighters knocked out Gary's shields. Enemy bombers are incoming. Take them out. Tracking's on. There, got one. Here we go. Target down. Got more Van bombers trying to hit the Krugeri again. Focus up and take them out.
Outstanding, gunners.
Thank you, sir. Good job. Ready up. More incoming. I'm picking up Glaives. Take him out. You see that? Oh, God. Gotta take out that 100 small turrets. Got another turret. get ready. Corvette's coming around. All gunners, get ready to target the main turret.
Marcus!
Who's that, Marcus? Can anybody see? Open fire. Take out that main turret.
One of my guns is down!
All gunners, take out that turret. It's your only target right now. We won't survive another hit.
Turret down!
Tracking multiple inbound boarding spikes. Target and eliminate. We should get the hell out of here!
I need help! I need help!
More Vandals slip fast. Made planet ball. Copy. Forward inventors onto the ground forces.
We've got your pad, Argus.
Appreciate it. Could really just do with some fire cleanup. We're taking multiple hits.
335. Break engagement and support.
Sir, briefing now. Charging main guns. Prepping for full spread. Any effect on target?
Camp out. Multiple hostile captured. Bearing down on us. Copy that. Radius inbound.
Firing again! Getting a weird power spike from the King ship.
Break, Argus, break!
Argus is down! Repeat! Argus is down!
Need help! Critical structural damage. Multiple deaths.
Flight ops. Scramble any of...
Hey, happy birthday! Oh my god! We're under attack. Security's been overrun. Please, help us!
Here's the situation. Ninetales attacked these commercial platforms. Gather any gear you need and help us take them back.
After eating the bear's breakfast, Goldilocks explored their house. She saw 3 chairs and wanted badly to rest her feet. But the first chair she tried was much too small. So she tried the second chair, and it was much too big. But when she tried the third chair, she found that it was just right.
This thing is chewing us up, sir.
Break engagement with this destroyer. Align for a run on the King ship.
Weapons. I'm gonna need you to cook up a firing solution on that King ship. Hit him with everything we got.
So, all of our weapons even focused?
Have to do something. Right, Mr. Kraus? The Van Duel aren't gonna blow themselves up.
Yes, sir.
Wait, next time we take a hit, drop our shields an extra 30%.
Hear that, Shields?
Sir.
Navigation.
Sir.
Adjust heading. 10 degrees port.
Aye, sir.
Let's get their attention.
Generator's down, sir. Starboard 4 exposed. Sir.
Hit them again.
Waiting on you, Mr. Kraus.
They're gonna kill us.
Getting power spikes. And charging up the main gun. I guess you got their attention.
Copy that. Tally's on me.
Flight. Echo Flight, prep for boost.
Let's say hi.
All copy. Torps at the ready. Stand by for lock.
Ready up, people. Enemy vectors inbound.
Copy, Doug. You can cover, I can make a run at that shield, Jenny.
Copy. Hey, Roger. Take Charlie and Delta and screen up those fighters. Mabel, Bug, you're in main. I think we run a double switchback.
Copy that. Tally's maintain vector. I'll clear your shot.
Got it. All echoes, stay on the ball.
Light him up.
Look out.
Cal, I don't think your ship's got the firepower to take that emitter out.
You might be right. Shield softened up.
Shields up!
Report! Shields are holding. Barely. That shot took out our main thrusters.
No, not us, them.
The Kingship shields are down.
Yes! We don't celebrate until they're dead.
Hit him! Hit him!
sir. King ship's headed right for us.
Can we evade?
Shot took out the main thruster, sir. I'm trying to get the auxiliaries online.
Getting a rapid increase in the King ship's energy signature. Looks like they're trying to go critical.
Even if we dodge, we won't get clear of the blast range on auxiliary alone. Attention fleet. This is Admiral Bishop. You are ordered to immediately withdraw. I repeat, withdraw. All non-essential personnel are dismissed to abandon ship. If you want to volunteer to stay, we can sure use your help. All right. Tell the gunners to concentrate all the power they got. Maybe we can take out this King ship before it hits us.
Yes, sir. Logistics. I want every ounce of juice pumped into those guns. If we don't need it to breathe or shoot, I don't want it.
Oh my god, what happened? My head. They must be like pirates. I'm gonna keep rolling, see what happens. The shuttle! There's my ride! Just gotta get over there. Oh, Crusader security. I'm saved! Sir, hey. Oh no. Ew, he killed him. Okay, Molly, keep it together. You got this. Ew, is that blood? Oh my god, nasty. This is seriously super disturbing. So much property damage. Like, where is the shuttle? That looks like it could get me out of here. If I could just make it over there. Yeah, you go over there. That's right. Don't turn around, don't turn around. Here goes nothing. Not sorry. That's not the shuttle. Well, friends, that was wild, right? And now, here I am back on this lovely 890 jump and headed to New Babbage for the IAE, once again basking in the opulence of the full Origin Jump Works experience. It obviously takes more than fanatical pirates to slow me down. See you at the expo, babes!
Out here, you've got your crew and your ship. And the only thing that matters is getting the job done. This is your workshop, your playground, your command center. This is your multi-operator laser extractor. Argo Astronautics, building your future.
I think I can crouch into that.
Let's go! Ah! Get out! Hey, hold the door!
I need to find another way out of here.
All personnel evacuate ship.
Fire detected. Room locking down. Repeat. Room locking down.
Systems back online. Breach detected. Depressurizing.
Sealing suit.
Cut! Jimmy, we're rolling. You want a bucket? Nope. We're over here, Jimmy. Uh-huh. Eyes front. Reset.
really doing it. I still don't know how you're going to pull this bit off solo. Likely kill yourself. Oh my god, he's gonna kill himself! Jimmy. Now we're even for what happened in God.
Okay, let's see what this cannon can really do for a proper big finish.
Warning, oxygen low.
Pressurizing.
was the only one left.
So did I.
Look, I need your help with something. Follow me. We're running low on power, so we have to reroute our energy from our shields to our thrusters to change direction. Take a seat. I need you to steer the ship. Time for your first piloting lesson. We're setting a new course. For that. Ready?
Shields
Go.
offline. Maneuvering systems online.
Good. Hold that. Shifting power back to shields.
Shields
Engaging autopilot.
Corvus! I ordered you to fall back!
Can't do that. You're dead in the water and we can help.
The situation's under control. You order reverse!
You can't kill it. Not before it takes you out. We are boarded and burning. This is the only way.
Well, lock your course and get off that thing. Both of you clear?
Aye, aye.
Rachel!
I will. Damn it. We're about to have company. I've got to try and divert as much energy as I can to the engines. So I'm gonna need you to hold them off. Go now.
Yes, sir.
Life support and lab are offline. Disabling safeties on the reactor to goose some extra juice. Here they come! Incoming! Keep it up. Another breach! almost finished here.
Ejection system offline.
The escape pod door is jacked. I need you to manually override the door. Give me your rifle. I'll cover you. I just need a minute to finish up here. What's the status on the door?
We're good. Down! Captain. Sir.
Don't argue. Just do me a favor. Give this to Bishop. Tell him it's all gonna be okay. Tell him it was a good trip.
Warning. Collision imminent.
Get the hell out of here.
Warning. Impact. Warning. Impact. Warning. Impact. Warning. Impact. Warning. Impact.
I said get out of here.
No, I'm not leaving you. I do solemnly pledge, mind and body, I will defend the Empire with my life.
Your application to the Flight Academy has been reconsidered. Captain McLaren had submitted a letter of recommendation on your behalf before the battle.
Hey, it's fine. It's fine.
We may be a small crew, but the work we do matters.
Welcome to the Stanton.
Oh, shit! And speaking of finished, I think we better get out of here.
What are you doing, Jimmy? Enjoying the view? We've got a show to finish.
I'm Petty Officer Webster, Chief Mechanic.
This will be your new home.
We got you flying with Lieutenant Commander Colton. He's one of our best.
Sir?
Who the hell are you?
I'm your new wingman, sir. The name's...
You want me to learn your name? You live long enough for me to care.
Baron Actual, you're clear to launch.
Launching in 3, 2, 1.
This is the first MISC ship in about 5 years. In my mind, it'll be pushing into the further expanses of the universe, going as far as you can go, and seeing what's out there.
The type of player this ship should appeal to is those players who just like traditionally non-combat experiences. The Odyssey is sort of designed for a more generic role in terms of they want to go off into the wild blue yonder and just explore. Being MISC, obviously they work closely with Jian and incorporate tech, so that primarily on the art side gave a lot of flexibility, but on the design side allowed us to justify some of the more interesting features of the ship.
In terms of the ship from front to back, there's a lot more of that cool levitation tech. Got that classic sort of wide cockpit that we see on MISC ships like the Freelancer. Underneath, we've got like a prospector type bubble which can house 2 crew. One person does the tractor beaming, one person does the mining. We've got 2 unmanned turrets for a little bit of self-defense. There's one at the back under the underneath too.
And then the pilot has a variety of missiles to use.
On the interior, we've split it over 3 levels in total. Top deck is mainly some engineering space and refinery.
So you can mine quantanium and refine it for the ship itself. So that essentially gives you the ability to just generate your own quantum and hydrogen fuel.
Obviously, Star Citizen is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We're introducing more systems. Fuel is going to become a major issue, right? And so this is perfect for that kind of scenario. The middle deck is probably the most dominant of the 3.
You have a bridge at the front of the ship, and it's quite a nice bridge on the Odyssey because you have this huge bank of stations for all the crew to sit there all in one place. Every crew member has their own room with ensuite facilities on board.
And then the lower deck leads us to the hangar, which is basically what the whole ship is formed around, essentially. So that really did dictate the dimensions and the proportions of the ship.
It's a generic hangar. It's designed to our environmental hangar metrics, so there's a huge range of ships that can fit in there. You could bring a fighter ship if you want more defense. You could bring a prospector if you want to do even more mining. The hangar on there is a huge volume and helps support any choice you want to make with ships. There's a little medical bay in there for any accidents that happen along the way.
We have this one room which is kind of really in there just as like the rule of cool. You can just sort of sit there and just see space, as you're zooming along.
The natural competitor to the Odyssey is the Carrot.
In my mind, it's a carrot killer. What you can do with it is pretty impressive. It's kind of the multi-tool of the spaceship world.
It just gives you almost ultimate flexibility on how you want to play. The Misk Odyssey is the ultimate exploration ship.
The Misk Odyssey is the first offering from the storied manufacturer in quite some time, and they seem intent on bursting back into the scene with a massive impact that is sure to make Carrack owners look twice. And while that wraps up our multi-week coverage of the new ships and vehicles of this year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, let's go ahead and take a look into the future with a special vehicle-themed sprint report. To get things started, members of the EU Vehicle Content Team have returned their attentions to the Hull A and Hull C as they continue refining the work previously done in order to bring it up to current standards and, perhaps most importantly, metrics. Now, if you've been following the project for some time, you'll know we learn with each and every ship we make, and it's essential to take those lessons forward so they can inform each and every ship yet to come. Now, while the Hull A continues its journey through Final Art exterior and gray box interior, what you can see here with the Hull C are the results of not just some recent lighting passes, but an effort to update the interior scales of certain areas for improved player and NPC comfort alike, addressing those metric issues and experimenting with some early attempts at new building block screens for tractor beams and the like. And speaking of tractor beams, the Vehicle Content Team has begun building the size 1, 2, and 3 tractor beams that can be equipped to a variety of vehicles, bringing with it some long-awaited functionality to ships like the 300 seen here, the Caterpillar, and more. Minor updates are also underway to the Starfarer as it gets ready to make its debut not just as the first refueling ship in Star Citizen, but the first refining vehicle as well, as new additions to the exterior walkway will allow it to take canisters of newly mined fuel from other spaceships for processing. And yes, we want to update the interior just as much as you do. We're looking at where we can slip that into the schedule now, so hang tight. Up next, let's move along to the Vulture, the entry-level salvage ship from Drake, which has moved into final art phase with a look at the habitation area, as well as the cockpit. And for ships just beginning their journey, we can announce that the Scorpius fighter from RSI has begun its journey through white box phase, where the team works to ensure all current metrics are met and that all the component spaces work as we'd like them to. It's so far so good, with no surprises, which itself is kinda always a surprise. And finally, before we let you go, we showcased the updated concepts for the Banu Merchantman at this year's CitizenCon. And now I'm pleased to report that in our final IAE 2951 vehicle episode, that the Merchunk Man itself has begun its journey and moved from concept phase into white box with this highly anticipated first image. Hey, everything starts somewhere. She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, and you're going to get to follow along with it from the very beginning of its journey from this point forward. So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that Misk wasn't content to just let Anvil sit alone at the top of the exploration pyramid with the recently revealed Odyssey. that there are a variety of new ships and ship updates that will make their way to the persistent universe between this year's IAE and the next. And that sometimes I'm just going to hide stuff in the outro to reward folks who watch until the very end. Something like a bunch more Banu Merchantman updates, maybe. Looking good. Nice. That's a turret, not an ED-209. Ooh, and some video. Yes, sometimes I'm a jerk, but I'm your jerk. Now don't forget that our big IAE All Ships Q&A airs tomorrow on Star Citizen Live on Twitch, and it's your chance to ask about the Spartan, the Raft, the Odyssey, and all the latest vehicles from this year's IAE, and then we'll be right back here next week with a look at the exciting future of Gravlev and revamped Jumptown 2, both coming in Alpha 3.16. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all next week. And now, for people who stick around until the very end, I got this. It's not coming soon, though. Sometimes we like to have fun.
Behold, the mighty Aegis Redeemer.
Suffered a catastrophic injury, but you're okay now. Now don't rush anything. You're free to go when you feel comfortable.
When Luke Skywalker asked Yoda, "What's in the cave?" his response was a simple, "Only what you take with you." As we approach the introduction of cave systems in the Star Citizen universe and the FPS mining and gameplay that goes with them, only what you take with you is at the heart of the new personal commodity inventory feature, our first step towards a larger world of player inventory systems.
Personal commodity inventory is the first step on the way to the full personal inventory. And what the personal commodity inventory does is it allows you to be able to pick up commodities after you've mined them and then actually put those commodities onto your armor or into your backpack. Now obviously how this differs from a regular personal inventory is that a personal inventory would normally be able to store items. So you'd be able to put small, guns or magazines or other different items like a Big Benny's box and store them in your inventory. But the personal commodity inventory is just a specialized inventory that only stores commodities. Now, when we talk about commodities, you're talking about like FPS minables, which obviously will be releasing in sync alongside the personal commodity inventory, or it'll be other pre-existing commodities that you can buy within Star Citizen right now. As a part of the functionality for the mining loop, what we want you to be able to do is be able to go down, mine some things or mine commodities, place them in your backpack, and then head back to your ship and actually empty your inventory into your cargo grid on your ship. So to allow you to do this, what we've been able to do is access your inventory via the personal inner thought menu. So the personal inner thought menu, you'll be able to go into interact mode, select the pip, the interaction pip that will display, or you'll be able to use the associated hotkey. That will take you into your personal inventory. You'll be able to see all the items that you've collected, and you'll be able to do a few things from that menu. First, you'll be able to drop individual items, which will then drop them on the floor, but you'll also be able to select the Store All button. Now, the Store All functionality will basically store all of the things that are inside your backpack at that particular moment in time, and store them in a cargo box at your feet. So you'll be able to load up your backpack and then go to the ship, unload into a cargo box, and then when you go to the kiosk, you'll be able to sell those items as loot items directly from your ship, or you'll be able to access those items directly from your core if you have them already stored in there. That's the first step. Obviously, later down the line, we'll hope to be actually introduce the item functionality as part of the iCache system, which will allow us to store all of the things that you collect and over and above commodities, but this is the first step in that direction.
The Harbinger and the Sentinel, two Vanguard variants with kick-ass names and devastating purposes. They're well on their way towards inclusion into the upcoming Alpha 3.7. Let's take a look now through their modular interiors and still progressing paint jobs.
So this is the Vanguard Sentinel. Right now the colour scheme on this is temporary. We're kind of experimenting just to see what we can do. The actual exterior of the Vanguard Sentinel is the same body as the Warden and the Hoplite. The actual weaponry and armaments are different. The main thing that changes with the Vanguard Sentinel is the central habitation pod. So this is where the E-War gameplay is going to be taking place. So the actual terminal, it's like a larger version of what you have in the Vanguard Warden. You have some screens for diagnostics. Right now they're using temporary displays just for some movement and life within this habitation pod. But I imagine in the future they could be replaced with diagnostics and relevant information for what you're doing. This entire area is almost based around an aircraft carrier. One really cool feature about aircraft carriers is they have like big glass displays which are illuminated and you can draw on. And you can see through these, so I wanted to try and get one of those in there. And also it's kind of based around things you might have seen from other sci-fi shows as well. Some features in here are the same as the Warden. You've got like a bathroom and a galley and some beds still. The main feature is this hacking station. So the difference between the Sentinel and the Harbinger, mainly visible on the interior. Here we have the new Harbinger torpedo room. One of the biggest appeals of Vanguard Harbinger is being able to watch the torpedoes launch. I think I've seen online some of the fans are quite eager to watch that. And the Sentinel and the Harbinger should prove quite fun variants of the Vanguard. One thing that's still going to change about the Vanguard Harbinger is obviously where these torpedoes are going to get fired from. There'll be a hatch underneath the ship, so you can see the torpedo go from inside the ship to firing away. The mechanism will be completely viewable. Hopefully you'll get as much fun from playing these things as I have from making them. So we look forward to showing the finished off paint schemes in the future.
The flight and operation of spaceships is at the very heart of the Star Citizen experience, with work continuing on all aspects of performance and application, including a new feature coming online soon called Proximity Assist, which aims to make the maneuvering around and inside of larger objects just a little bit easier.
So in 3.6 we introduced hover mode. So I'm going to jump into the game and show you what we have been working on as an improvement to this. First of all, you'll notice that the sort of helicopter aspects of hover mode have been removed. We decided that this was not really, it wasn't very intuitive and it wasn't really achieving what we wanted. So we've gone back to the drawing board, and what we wanted actually was softer, more believable, realistic flying. And so if I fly low to the ground and I sort of maneuver like this, you can almost immediately see how much slower the ship is. Whereas if I, accelerate up and fly away, then you sort of get the normal handling that we always had with the Gladius. And so this feature is called Proximity Assist. It's pretty much completed now. And the goal behind it is to dynamically manage the ship's accelerations, to keep the ship slow and a little bit more sort of believable motion when you're flying in atmosphere and low to the ground. So the goal with this is obviously to try and make the handling of the ship feel a little bit more believable and softer and not as like this jerky kind of mess all over the place. This fits a lot better with the lore of the game. Proximity Assist is this assistive feature in the flight control system. You can turn it off and on. And one thing we're going to try is reducing the efficiency of the thrusters in atmosphere so that you get weaker thrusters in atmosphere. We can get a little bit closer to like real aircraft flying. And that in combination with this proximity assist feature should really solve the problem that hover mode didn't adequately solve.
So what did we learn about this week? We learned that personal commodity inventory is the foundational tech that will make FPS mining and later player inventory possible. That the promise of the Vanguard line of ships is another step closer to its fuller realization. And that when it comes to landing our spacecraft, some of us can use all the help we can get. Talking about me. To our subscribers, our thanks for making this show and others like it possible. And to everyone in the Star Citizen community, be sure to tune in to tomorrow's All About Development edition of Star Citizen Live, where we'll be answering your questions about the development of the roadmap in general. Until next time.
Thanks for watching. For the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42, you can subscribe to our channel, or you can check out some of the other shows, and you can also head to our website at www.robertspaceindustries.com. Thank you very much for watching.
Behold, the mighty Aegis Redeemer. The once and future next great starship is bristling with uncut firepower to the tune of 6 massive guns and a heaping helping of missiles, ready to jam down the gullet of any baddies foolish enough to give you any trouble. Today, we're set to find out if the infamous Redeemer can create as well as it can destroy. We've filled this ship's auxiliary fuel tanks with a special paint mixture, stay with me, so that when I fire the thrusters just so, it'll spray stunning, bristling with uncut firepower to the tune of 6 massive guns and a heaping helping of missiles, ready to jam down the gullet of any baddies foolish enough to give you any trouble. Today, we're set to find out if the infamous Redeemer can create as well as it can destroy. We've filled this ship's auxiliary fuel tanks with a special paint mixture, stay with me, so that when I fire the thrusters just so, it'll spray stunning swathes of colour across that rooftop, which our fleet of MPUVs is turning into a giant canvas. The idea being to recreate the famous painting, Tears of Fire, on a massive scale. We'll just do a little bit of that at the bottom, finish that off, there we go. Jack Smurg Cleary. Ha! So with precision controls and the spirit of artistic inspiration on our side, it's time to see if this thing makes as good a paintbrush as it does a devastating killing machine. Here we go! Well, that was a bit underwhelming. But we aren't done yet. Ah, right. Oh, holy Sheehan Bob! That is it. I've absolutely had it. I can't believe this.
Everybody take 5.
I mean, what a piece of garbage! I accidentally plagiarised myself, and then I have the gall to think I can right the ship with some over-the-top stunt, and it doesn't even bloody work! I don't care what the kids like, Jimmy. This is the bloody Aegis Redeemer. I can't believe I thought that using the nastiest gunship to ever make a Vandal soil its bioarmour would be well served farting paint onto somebody's penthouse. I've lost my way, Jim. I don't think it's even about the ships anymore. host the show, Jimmy. I'm done. PUV is turning into a giant canvas. The idea being to recreate the famous painting Tears of Fire on a massive scale. We'll just do a little bit of that at the bottom, finish that off. There we go. Jack Smurg Cleary. Ha! So, with precision controls and the spirit of artistic inspiration on our side, it's time to see if this thing makes as good a paintbrush as it does a devastating killing machine. Here we go! Well, that was a bit underwhelming. But we aren't done yet. Ah, right. Oh, holy Shian Bob! That is it. I've absolutely had it. I can't believe this.
Everybody take 5.
I mean, what a piece of garbage! I accidentally plagiarised myself, and then I have the gall to think I can right the ship with some over-the-top stunt, and it doesn't even bloody work! I don't care what the kids like, Jimmy. This is the bloody Aegis Redeemer. I can't believe I thought that using the nastiest gunship to ever make a Vandal soil its bioarmour would be well served farting paint onto somebody's penthouse. I've lost my way, Jim. I don't think it's even about the ships anymore. Yeah, well, you host the show, Jimmy. I'm done.
In 315, we are delivering hospitals for the players of Star Citizen. For me, the healing loop is something that's gonna have a big impact on the way we play, especially in co-op. We ended up creating these drop-off points where you can carry your injured friend. It sort of looks like an elevator with a gurney in the middle, so if you have a big crew and everybody has had a bad day, then you can keep feeding them to the machine. One of the interesting challenges about building hospitals is obviously that we have to build them for a purpose that isn't there yet. And so what we did on the design side, we were very involved with the actor feature team in what is the healing loop going to be like and what are the requirements that we have to factor in our location. So we decided that we need some pharmacies where you can purchase meds.
We need also instrument shop where you can set your respawn position. We need also like a completely new way of approaching rooms reservation. We know we get assigned a room in the habitation when we spawn, but now we do it the other way around, where you go into a location and you reserve a room from the lobby, and we didn't have that flow before. So we had to develop all of that to support all the mechanics that are implied with the healing.
For 315, we introduced 4 hospitals: Horizon, Base Clinic, Grimex, and New Babbage.
As you enter New Babbage Hospital, you'll see right away what I think is one of the really cool features of this hospital is that there's this glass ceiling above you that allows you to really take in the vista. And if you look behind you, you'll see the Aspire Grande Tower where the abs are. You're gonna find your reception on your right-hand side, and you're gonna find all your shop and services needs on your left-hand side. And really from there, all you have to do is keep going straight to the other half where the elevators are. And then it takes you to the medical floors.
Specifically worked on the upper floors of the hospital. That's where the player will be able to check in at the nurse's desk, spawn in at the medical room.
In my opinion, this hospital shines. Horizon is really big, super high ceiling, really open, and super clean too. You have like the reception right in front of you and the service is a bit behind. And then the elevators, they take you higher up.
As you go out of the elevator, then the player will pass through and see this absolutely gorgeous wind sculpture there, and seeing those big whale passing through the clouds in front of you as you're in those medical bed, feels special, it feels different.
And then we have the space clinics. They still offer all the same services that you would find in a larger hospital. It's just that everything is more compact.
We're creating modules and different pieces of the space clinic, so that way every time you experience it, it'll be just a little bit different and you'll still get the same feeling.
We always try to place them near the elevators that takes you to the hangar, so that whether you come in after you're being injured or whether you're walking out and you're in a hurry to go back in space, it's easy and convenient. So you walk in there, it's again very clean, but much less so than Horizon. Obviously, it has more like this kind of low-tech vibe to it. These ones, I expect them to be fairly popular because they're just so convenient. Grimex, if it had a smell, it would smell like like a sport bag or something like that.
Low tech is not as clean as New Bab or Horizon.
Me personally, it's the best. It's much smaller. It's more like on the clinic size, so there's not a big elevator to go through. As we all know, elevators are the biggest killers in game development, so it's a good thing that we skipped one there. It has this really nice view to the asteroid field outside. And the cool thing is that you can also land your ship right next to a side entrance to the clinic. So if you're in a hurry and you don't want to go and park in a hangar or into the traversal, you can park right next to it, get out, walk in, and get treated. But the thing is, like, it's open space, right? So your ship is exposed while you do that, and you could very well see a pirate fly in and shoot at your ship as you're getting fixed yourself, and really this kind of emergent like interaction is really what makes a game shine, I think. The hospitals are part of a game changer.
When people leave the hospital and they wake up and they explore around, I think they're really going to see like the love and care we put into each crevice and corner.
I hope that the hospitals are going to be a way to wrap up the full healing loop. Honestly, if the players find them convenient, me as a designer, I'm happy my job is done.
Hospitals are the next major offering from our team in Montreal, and serve as harbinger of the next major advancement in player healing from the actor feature team scheduled to come online in the upcoming Alpha 3.15. And while we'll be learning more about how all that works in the coming weeks, let's shift gears now to spaceships, specifically Aegis stalwarts, the Gladius, Saber, and Retaliator, and find out what it really means to be the gold standard in a pipeline that is continuously evolving to this day and beyond.
The gold standard pass is what we are terming this current pass on the vehicles. We are implementing primarily cockpit button placement, cockpit button animations, making sure everything is symmetric, both character and item-wise, exposing all the ship items, lighting passes, material passes. Gold standard is finishing the ship to as complete a standard as we can with the feature set that we have right now in the game. The first ship that we put through this pass was the Aegis Gladius.
I was a little nervous working on the Gladius because it is like the star squadron, and I wanted to make sure I did a good job on it. And then also coupled with the fact that because Squadron are using it, I had to make sure that I didn't break anything with each submit so they can keep working on Squadron and still able to test and work on it. We started off with adding component hatches and a personal inventory. Gladius didn't seem to have any visible headlight source, so I went in and added some nice big headlights for that at the front. And then it was just, like I said, with the thruster glows as well, trying to get them to look nice and read from a distance. Adding the fuel port on it as well. And then, just some geo optimizations and material optimizations and more stuff that you don't necessarily would see, but makes the game, more optimized and runs better.
So on the next ship, which was the Saber, we built on what we learned from the Gladius and did that in the Saber.
Hey, did you see the last transmission?
Has anyone seen Jimmy? Where's Jimmy?
It was wild. I thought Jax was done for.
Is that McCleary?
I'll tell you what, Jimmy. If you hadn't shown up when you did, I would have been dead. But if Bob and the crew hadn't swooped in, we'd both be ink spots on the ruined station pavement. I owe both of you big time.
Don't mention it. Now strap in, boys. It's a long way to the jump point.
We need to get a crew out there.
Like an Apollo rescue team?
No, a camera crew.
Ah, yeah, you're right.
This is just the format change we need.
Plenty of time, Jim, for you and I to riff on ideas for next season, huh? And we could hit a couple of my favourite pyro haunts on the way back. I could show you around, introduce you to some of the locals. Yeah, I still can't believe you managed to find me by tracking my transmissions. Whoa, crap! Not again! Bob!
Adaptability, defined as being able to adjust oneself readily to different conditions. An invaluable asset in a constantly changing universe. From the Koray to the Sen, the Mako, and the Tana. Each model in Misk's Reliant family features advanced Xi'an designs. And the Reliant can acclimate to a multitude of purposes and situations. Contention, communications, discovery, and beyond. The universe we live in is always changing. Shouldn't you be? Misk Reliant.
I've had a a lot of fun at Drake's expense over the years, but when you get down to it, there's no denying their power and versatility.
We added in a bunch of lighting so you can still read the ship from afar, but not make it too bright as it's still a stealth ship. And after the whole exterior was done and dusted, we moved on to a revision of the dashboard, overall just reworking so it's not as noisy, and now you have like a better view of like your cockpit, and then just everything nice and compact to the sides. In a couple of sentences, a really rough overview of the Sabre Gold Standard process.
So the Retaliator Gold Standard is obviously a much larger task than the Gladius and Sabre. Has all the same criteria of work, so looking at the cockpit, looking at the components, adding all the things, checking everything's symmetric. But because it's got an interior, then there's additional tasks added. So the same work we do for the cockpit of the pilot has to be done for the turrets. The components that you can physically take out of the ship, can you physically take them out of the ship? Do the doors need to be wider, etc.? Now you've made the doors wider, do they still fit in the ship when they open? And we also took the time to look at the central room and thought, can we improve on this? We decided to remove the top and bottom docking collars and go for a side airlock, which also helps for docking because that's just a natural walking on transition. And then because we'd lost a lift on that side, we then realised we had to make the lift on the other side slightly larger to accommodate essentially 2 lifts worth of people. So then you've now just got 1 lift on that side of the ship to get in and a docking collar on the other side to get in. The thing that the Retaliator has is the customizable room modules, and there's a cargo module front and back, a dropship module at the front. They were all brought up to current standards, so when modularity comes on as a swappable item, they are good to go. That's where we're at with the first gold standard ships. Obviously going to go through all the ships, but we are going to focus on the ones that feature heavily in Squadron 42 first, and then we will roll on to your favourite ship afterwards.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that hospitals are the vanguard of new player healing mechanics coming to Star Citizen that look to change the way we live and die in the persistent universe. That much like the planet tech, even the spaceships that we've had and flown thousands of times continue to improve and evolve as new technologies come online. And that elevators truly are the most dangerous killer in the game development kingdom. They only let me work Jungle Cruise once, but I killed it. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all next week.
Amazon, Twitter, Google, Facebook, and Microsoft are allowing their employees to work from home.
For a business that can allow more employees to telecommute, we want you to do
This
that.
outbreak is a catalyst for whether or not that is something that is
Work
sustainable.
from home plan is hitting some glitches. Real challenges are in store.
It feels really surreal because when it all started and people, you know, were talking about that, okay, it's now a pandemic, and then which sounds like quite a scary word. This is like out of a movie. I don't understand. Watching everybody kind of pack up their stuff and